Hello, you beautiful soul. This is the Mystic Visionary Podcast, and this is your host, Thea. And we're here today to pick a word for the week. And I'm going to go into my little box over here of little slips of paper, and I'm going to pick the word. And if you don't know what that means, you can go into the show notes, and there'll be a link to the first podcast that explains it all. All right, the word for the week is journey. Wow, that's a good word. Journey. All right, I'll go meditate on that and I'll come back and talk about what journey means for the new paradigm. I'm back. Boy, I fell asleep after I meditated and it was good. It was really good. You know, the thing that I realized about the word journey is it's such a cliche in so many ways because we hear the things that say it's not the destination, it's the journey, and those bumper stickers that say it's the journey. Well, it's as simple as it's the journey, but it's way deeper than that. I think in the new paradigm, it is about the journey, and the journey really is that finding your center, going to your heart, and living from your heart forward. And I think in the old paradigm, I could see clearly how we're destination oriented. We're goal driven. We want to get to that next thing that's supposedly the mecca of happiness or whatever, success, or the feeling of, okay, once we get here, then everything's going to be good. And I know that intellectually or, intrinsically, we know that it's the day-to-day stuff that really matters, that our life is made up of the, moments in our life. But as a culture, as a society, we have been so programmed to believe that we're always in the pursuit of something. I know I've talked about it before. The Constitution talks about the pursuit of happiness. Well, the pursuit of happiness means it's elusive. It's like the carrot that's dangling out in front of you there that you're always after. That is not really what the journey is about. The journey is so much more than the pursuit of happiness or the dangling carrot and trying to achieve it. I was thinking recently, I was talking to someone and they were telling me about their child that's in kindergarten, and they were doing their graduation from kindergarten to elementary school. And the other person there was like, oh, my kid did a graduation from preschool to kindergarten. And I was reflecting, thinking about how it used to be the only graduation when I was a kid was our high school graduation. You graduated from high school and then you started your life. You either went to college or you went off and did whatever you're going to do. Well, now we have all these milestones to reach, even starting in preschool. It's like graduate from preschool and then you get to be in kindergarten, and then graduate from kindergarten, you get to be in elementary school, and then elementary school graduation, and then middle school graduation. It's like there's always some next thing we're achieving, and it sets kids up and it sets all of us up, and it creates a collective consciousness of the goal is the important thing, where in reality, you could waste your life away striving for the goal. And life is just happening on your way to striving for the goal. I think people get trapped in that. And then that's what leads to so many people being unhappy because they have attained these milestones, and then the success or the feelings of accomplishment are just fleeting. And then there's another one to go strive towards. Anyway, I know we know all that, but I think because of this collective consciousness, we really don't allow ourselves to know it. And I think there's a lot of times, like I have realized in the last several years, there's a lot of things I know intellectually that I don't practice in my life. It's like you have this understanding of it, but do I really embody it? And I think that this is one of those words. Journey is a word of that needs to be embodied. What I see in the new paradigm is that the journey doesn't even begin until we go inside ourselves and get to that point of knowing ourselves, starting in that center of ourselves. And as I was meditating, I could see that process of like just becoming present, because knowing yourself and being on the journey is really being in the present moment. It's being right here, right now, not thinking about yesterday or the future. You're thinking about being in this moment, and what does this moment bring? It's the now, like Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. All of our life is lived in the present moment, but we are all too busy to be present. And I think that's where the real journey begins, when you're able to get present with yourself, get into where you're at in this beautiful, amazing present moment. Because in the moment, it's amazing, and it is the only thing you really have. I know that anxiety is something that has had an issue in my life, and anxiety is this fear of things that I don't have any control over. So I would have that a lot, and then I would try to control things so that fear would go away. So I was constantly trying to control the outcome of things in the future. And if I did all these things correctly, then I wouldn't feel anxious, and I would feel safe, and then everything would be okay. Except the only problem with that is that as I was worrying about how to make myself safe or feel comfortable for some possible future event, I wasn't living in the present moment, which then created like dissatisfaction in my life. Then there's the other side of that, where I spent too much time in remorse and regret and going over the past, these things that happened to me, and why couldn't it have been different, and these people treated me badly, or this bad thing happened to me, or the traumas of my younger life, and I would be depressed about that. And I realized that is where we're at collectively in the old paradigm. It's like people are stuck between their regrets and their fears, and it's a very uncomfortable place to be, very uncomfortable. And I know it because I've been there and I experience it. And I'm not saying I've evolved beyond that. I'm just saying that I'm aware that I need to find some space. And partially that's what I've learned in meditation is to try to get into that present moment, to get into the space of now. So while I was meditating on the word, I realized that I was thinking of it like a game board. We've all played a board game, and you have that start position, and that start place is where the whole thing begins. And in my meditation, I really got this idea of the start place is when you're able to just be present and be connected and reflecting inward. And I call that place the 0 point field. It's like I'm not worried about my future. I'm not concerned about my past. I'm right here in the present moment. I have let go of all my labels. I've let go of all my fear. I've let go of all my trying to control things. And I just am in the present moment. And the way I can do that the most easily is by being in nature, being outside, being in nature, or just in meditation, just quieting myself, being still, taking myself out of all the stimulus. And I think that's the bigger thing. The stimulus that keeps us distracted is what we need to get away from. But when I get into that place of the start line, my starting place is that place of no thing, nobody, no place. I'm just in this idea of the now, like where am I at this moment in time? I'm lying on this bed, or I'm sitting in this chair, or I'm standing in this forest. And then I breathe, I take deep breaths and I breathe in and I'm like, ah. And as soon as I take these deep breaths, it just signals my body that I'm safe and that I'm peace and calm and that everything is okay. And that deep breathing brings you into that. And it's physiologically proven that shallow breaths make you anxious and long, slow, deep breaths center you. It brings us peace and calm and allows our body and our parasympathetic nervous system to know that everything is okay. And so with some deep breaths, I just become present, and then I start to notice my feelings, what I see, what I'm experiencing, what is happening in this very absolute moment. And when I do that, it's like all those layers of worry and concern and past and present and goals and have-tos and must-dos and all this sort of like float away. And I can set them aside knowing I can go back to them anytime I want, but I can stay here in this present moment. And when I do that, I really connect with myself. It's like a gathering of the lost pieces of myself, and I gather myself back together. And it's like if you have a dog, or when they get up sometimes and just shake themselves, they'll shake themselves off. It's like that's what I feel like the centering is, the start line. You just get there and you shake yourself off, you take some deep breaths, you bring yourself into the present moment, and you're ready. Like, here I am in the present moment and everything is perfectly fine. And then I go and connect with me. It's like, how am I feeling today? And then I start to reflect on what brings me joy. This being present in the moment, what brings me joy, what feels good, this being in this space of no have-tos and must-dos, and no matter how long it lasts, I'm there completely in the moment, and I'm noticing myself, my environment, and I'm centering myself, gathering myself back to that core of who I am. It's like going inward and just connecting. That is the starting point. That is where I begin my journey. And when I start my journey from that point, suddenly I have a different perspective on everything. It's like life suddenly seems easier. I suddenly seem more free. There's no weight on my shoulders. There's no pressure. And I know that I am in control of that. That is absolutely in my control. And then my journey begins. And then I start to allow things to unfold. When I'm not attached to outcomes, or I'm not trying to control outcomes, then I have this pathway that just starts opening up. And that's sort of when all these interesting synchronicities happen. When I meet people I need to meet, or I find a book that I need to read, or a meditation that I find that I listen to that's really insightful. Or I just have a conversation at the grocery store, or I overhear something and it's like what I need to hear. It's like having this ability to detach from this, clutching, hanging on to, or trying to control, or trying to be outwardly focused and goal-oriented, and all the things that create stress in your world go away. And then I'm more at ease, and things that go wrong don't even bother me. It's like that's just something, wow, okay, here's something I have to do. Okay, I'll deal with that. Instead of commiserating it or thinking, oh, why does this stuff always happen to me? It's so much easier to recognize that I can control my life. I can, in a different way, by being present in the present moment. It is absolute, complete surrender to the freedom of my nature expressing itself. And I know that sounds kind of woo-woo, but it's like we need to allow ourselves that space to let our heart respond and guide us. And how do we let our heart guide us if we're busy cluttering our life up with have-tos and goals and things that I think are going to make me happy? Like, I have to let go of that, and I have to get into this place where I really know myself, center myself, and that is truly the starting place of the journey. And when you start in that place, it's such a different experience. And it's so liberating, very much so. I was reflecting also on this idea of other people and institutions or society, culture, whatever, telling us what is the right way to do things. You know, we were set up to do that. And now that I'm of retirement age, I traveled a lot we've RV'd and we've traveled around a lot. And we see a lot of other people who are like us, retired people out exploring and doing things. And I see how many people are afraid because they have bought into these systems that have told them the way to do things. And a lot of it is financial, a lot of it is age-related, a lot of it is health-related. It's like you reach a certain point and then these are the things you're able to do and these are the things you're not able to do. And one of the biggest things I find that is the biggest block for the people that I've met is this word fixed income. I'm on a fixed income, so I can't do this. Well, we're limited because we're on a fixed income. And I see what that society has created that, you know, how many people are surviving on Social Security or some retirement or, you know, trying to make ends meet with what they have saved. And now that they're in retirement, they have to restrict themselves. And I had this image one day of, well, actually, I didn't have an image. I actually did it. Our shower was not very strong. The shower was actually crappy in our new house. So we took the flow restrictor off of the shower, and what a difference it made. It's like, wow, now taking a shower, and I know that's not environmentally conscious, and I'm sorry to my grandchildren and my daughter who are very environmentally conscious, but sometimes you just got to take a nice shower. And I was hating that restrictor, so I took it off. And the flow of that water now, it's like it makes taking a shower in a completely different experience. Well, I feel like that's the same thing the words fixed income does to people. It makes them restrict the flow because you're just sort of trapping yourself into this belief that there's no other way that the flow is going to come into your life. And that's absolutely not true. We create our reality, and what we believe about the world is what we get. So if we believe that we're on a fixed income and our flow is restricted, then that's exactly what we'll have. But the simple thing is that you can take the flow restrictor off of your own life just by your thoughts, just by your beliefs, and allowing yourself to open yourself up to something bigger and know that good is on your side, that life is expressing as you, and that possibilities are available to you no matter what your age. And that is the journey to me. That is this journey of all of us knowing that it's not about these actual restrictions that other people or institutions or society or culture or whatever puts on us. It's restrictions we've put on ourselves in the reflection of that in our lives, when in reality we continue to create that by believing it. So you got to start at this place of understanding your divine connection, of standing in your the deepest part of you in the now, where everything is perfectly fine. And everybody can do that right now in this moment. You're setting, wherever you're at, you're okay. You're perfectly fine. And if you go from that moment to the next moment, to the next moment, and stay in that now, you're in this space of being perfectly fine. And some people think that's going to be hard. Like, how do I just be living in the now? And it's not easy. I have to say, I get caught in it, and I get pulled away and into the drama of life. And that's what our culture is about, the drama. It's easily to get caught up in the drama. All you have to do is look at the news or most television shows or read the paper or social media. Oh my gosh, social media and the drama and social media. It's like our attention is being called in a zillion different directions every day. And that is really difficult. But, you have to find the time to bring yourself back into the now. And every time you do, and every time you bring yourself into the present moment, you are allowing yourself to reconnect with you and your heart and the interior of who you are as this amazing spiritual being having a human experience, and the control and power that you have that you don't even recognize. They say we only use 5% of the capacity of our brain. Well, try using another 5% of it. And the way you do that is by self-reflection and going inward. Make a commitment to meditation, no matter what that looks like to you. You could do walking meditation, or you could use gardening as meditation, or you could do traditional meditation. And there's a dozen and hundreds of different types of meditation. But making a commitment to that and just trying to find your own center and have that be the starting place of your journey, because that's what the new paradigm is about. It's about that heartfelt living from the inside out journey. And we can't do that if we don't take the time to get to know who we are and get away from all the distractions. We have so many distractions. I guess what I need to also say is that there's no not taking the journey. We're all on the journey. Our journey begins, doesn't begin, but we start our new journey at birth. And then we go on to the next journey at death. But during that time we're here on the earth, that is our journey. The question is, how do you want to spend it? Do you want to spend it like constantly focused on what you don't have, what you want to obtain, who you aren't and who you need to be and what's broken about yourself and what needs to be fixed? Or do you want to become present and be in this starting point of your journey with connecting with that eternal you who is perfectly okay exactly the way you are, and that releasing all those have-tos and must-dos and goals, and just start connecting from the inside and living that forward, walking that journey forward with this heart-based understanding of who you are. It's such a great feeling. And of course you're going to stray from that, but it's like, come back to that start point. And every time I meditate, I can bring myself back to the start. And the more that I do it, the more that I can connect with that me, the real me. And as I'm on my journey, I can catch myself as I'm straying in the direction that's not like my internal GPS. It starts to go, wait a minute, I don't think that's the way you want to go. You want to go this way. And I can realign myself. I'm able to catch myself being distracted by things that really aren't going to serve me. And that is how I get on from my start place and get on my journey and recognize that the more time I spend in the now, the more time I have. I think that's the other thing that happens as we get older. Time just seems to go by so fast. And the more time I can spend in the now, being present in the moment, the more time I have. And then the more time I have to appreciate the present moment and what is there in the present moment with me. And I see things I wouldn't have seen otherwise. And I see people I wouldn't have seen otherwise. And situations that I missed because I was too busy doing other things or striving for something. There's an opportunity that came by that I didn't even see. It's such a gift to just slow down and get present with yourself and consciously be on a journey to your own heart and living that heartfelt journey into the world. It's a great, great feeling. All right, well, there's the word journey for today. I think I'm going to end it there. And thanks for listening. And I'll be back next week with a new word. And hope you take some time to be present with yourself today. If you want to learn more about the 5 guiding principles of the new paradigm, you can listen to my audiobook, which is the Pocket Guide to the New Paradigm, which is a free audiobook on YouTube. I'll link it below. And the other thing that I have available is the Heart Archetype Quiz. It's a short quiz that answers the question, am I listening to the call of my heart? And you take the quiz and you'll discover what might be blocking you from living the call of your heart. And I think that's what we're all being called to do right now, is to look inside, connect with our heart, and follow its guidance. All right, thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week. If you have any questions or comments, feel free. You can also leave those below.